Let's have a conversation. So, in Job 1, this was my reading today, and I'm going to tell it like it's a story, okay? So, there was a righteous man named Job. Job had 7 sons and 3 daughters. Job also had like thousands of calves. He had thousands of sheeps and ox and donkeys. So Job was pretty much rich, right? And he had tons of servants. But something Job did was he still did burnt sacrifice unto the Lord just in case his children sin and curse God in their hearts, right? So what that told me was that it didn't matter what he had, he still put God first, right? So when you go down to Job 1 6, one day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. So God is like, Satan, like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I was just roaming the earth. Roaming the earth. I'm just roaming back and forward. What is he roaming for? He is looking for someone who he can tempt. So God goes and says, how about my servant Job? And when I think about it, it's like him saying, how about my servant Gloria? I am not saying I am righteous like Job. Not saying that. But he's like, how about my servant Samantha, Joe, Bob, Billy? How about my servant? And what I got from that is that God is banking and betting on us that we're going to pass the test of time, that we're going to get past that temptation that's going to come our way, right? And so then Satan says, well, he's not going to curse you because you've blessed him. I'm just paraphrasing, you guys, read it for yourself. He's like, because he has A, B, C, D, he has all these things. He's not going to curse you. He said, try him. But you cannot lay a finger on him. What I received from that is that he can't touch us. He cannot touch us. So even though Satan took everything was taken away from Job. His family, his farm, his sheeps, his servants, everything was taken away from him. And do you know what Job did? He shaved off all his hair, took off his clothes, and he began to worship God in the midst of his struggle, in the midst of in the midst of his situation. He never cursed him. So when he had a lot, when he had plenty, he still believed in him and he worshiped him and he put him first. When he had absolutely nothing, he still put him first and continued to worship him. How many of us have been in situations where we're like, why me? Why is this happening to me? What is going on? What did I do? And looking at this story, what I see in Job is that he believed that God gave him all these things. He didn't get all these things on his own. So he's like, if he gave it to me, he can surely take it away. And if he gave it to me once, why wouldn't he give it to me again? So talk about the trust that Job had in God. And then when you go on to read the story, everyone was looking at his situation and saying, why don't you curse him? Because Job wasn't fully looking at the situation. He was just looking at God. If you keep your eyes on God instead of your situation, it's so much easier to get through. But when you begin to look at your situation, it looks so much bigger. It hurts. It can bring depression, anxiety, and panic attack, and you just want to do things on your own and try to figure things out. And God is like, I just want to make sure that you're not idolizing these things. I need you to keep your eyes on me, because if I gave it to you once, I'll do it again. So that's what I received from this reading today, is that it didn't matter what he had. If he had a lot, he still worshiped and he put God first. If he had a little, he still worshiped and he trusts God. And you're going to be tempted. And God wants to stretch us sometimes. He wants to, stretch our faith and our character. And we have to think of things in a different light. We have to see things in a different way. And we can't actually go by what our eyes are seeing. We need to believe that he is in control of everything. So I pray that this message bless someone. You all have a good evening.